Today, I'm going to be breaking down Mr. Hasan Piker, in turn breaking down Mr. Stephen Bennell II on CNN. And for those of you who don't know, CNN is mainstream news. The alternative media seems to be outperforming old school legacy mainstream news. And so it's been a conversation how much alternative media pundits with controversial backgrounds should be accepted in the mainstream, which is going to be the backdrop for this breakdown. But without further ado, let's watch the content, pause every few minutes, and make fun of people involved.
If you wanted to know how a debate bro Hasan hater looks like IRL, oh yeah, Dhoni did the master debater shit, which is crazy. Dhoni, don't do it. You're gonna get the stink on him. But I guess he's like always around like in psycho right wingers anyway, so he's used to that shit. How Democratic streamers like Destiny are taking on MAGA and Charlie Kirk.
Destiny is always around psychotic right wingers. Is he talking about me? I think I'm like the only right winger who's still on like good terms with Steven besides Myron Gaines. Maybe he means Myron Gaines. Maybe that's who he means.
Dhoni O'Sullivan, friend of the show, did a piece on the debate sphere, I guess.
Yeah, I just got escorted from Brian Kirk, baby.
We're in Tampa, Florida for Turning Point USA's annual Student Action Summit. TPUSA is a voter-driving juggernaut for the Republican Party, led by 31-year-old Charlie Kirk.
They're happy. That's why, you know, they haven't been on social media.
But this year's event will be menaced by something called the Un-F America Tour, started by a group of progressive influencers and organizers, including the massively popular streamer Destiny.
This is the all roads lead to Rome thing, right? So he can do.
All right, I'm just going to make a comment about aesthetics. Give me a second. Steven was wigger maxing when I was hanging out with him. And what I mean by that is he was wearing like a tracksuit, which I'm not going to lie, it definitely had its own aesthetics. And then he had the silver or gold chain, and I think he was wearing like track pants or whatever, and it was perfect. I'm not going to lie. I think that wigger maxing, I'm not going to use the insult, but it's a white person who wants to be a black person. And I think that let me, I'm not going to Google, maybe I should Google that term, and then maybe I could just do white person who wants to be black. Who wants to be black? Let me show. No, that's Rachel Dolezal. Haircut. Ebony meme. Dang, there was this thing. White guy gets black haircut meme ebony. Yes, I found it. I feel like Steven should I'll stop using the hard ER. He should Wigamax. I think Steven should do this. I think he should, when you get tired of eHarmony and start using blackpeoplemeet.com, I seriously think that like Steven should Wigamax. I think that'd be awesome. This haircut's fine, but I think the tracksuit with the gold chain, I think that's the aesthetic he needs to go for. All right, I'm being rude, but I am being serious. I think the tracksuit with the gold chain is. Do you know? All right, sorry, real quick. I have to triple down because I don't want it to be used as a clip where it seems like I'm hating. I'm not hating. I'm actually praising. Do you know the stoner gangly white kid who was like boys with the working class skater boys and boys with like the pot dealing black kids? Do you know who I'm talking about? Like I went to a private high school, but I also went to a public high school. And in the public high school, there was that one white kid who would deal pot, who was friends with all the working class schlubs. I think Steven should embrace that dude's aesthetic. I think it works.
Streamer Destiny.
This is the all roads lead to Rome thing, right? So he can do the exact same behavior you said that Biden couldn't get away with doing.
Well, Destiny, they want to bring progressive debate to Kirk's doorstep, but first they have to get in.
So Turning Point has cancelled all of Un-F America's credentials.
You know what's funny? I'm debating Charlie Kirk at Dartmouth University next month.
Now they're trying to sneak in Destiny so he can debate inside here.
I like that these guys are like, this is our weapon. This is our secret weapon. If only
People say similarly cringe things like you or like about you, buddy.
if only Destiny will just like engage in spirited debate against Charlie Kirk, then we can just destroy this. We can destroy this whole charade.
Alright, he's in.
I don't think anybody said that, but okay.
So Destiny has made it inside the building, and we'll see how long he lasts.
Oh, yeah. Chad is bringing up a good point. They could be talking about Lauren Southern and they could be talking about Fuentes. That's not a it's not a bad point. Christian Blair says, I don't think Hasan knows who Connor is. I agree with you that Hasan Piker not only probably doesn't know who I am, even if he did, he would deny it. But unironically, I think I've been brought up on Hasan Piker's stream like twice at this point, because I've done quote tweets where I was talking shit about him and his chat actually linked him my shit talking tweets.
There's a major streamer named Destiny who's a Democratic liberal streamer. He appears to be debating Myron Gaines.
God, these debate clowns act like getting a center right neolib in a debate is equivalent to sneaking a Dragon Slayer into the den of the beast. I know. Ugh. Yeah.
Bruh, aren't you about to go debate Charlie Kirk in the marketplace of ideas? How are you shitting on the debate dynamic while being on the verge of being about to do it? I don't understand this at all. How are you being smug about a behavior that you yourself are about to participate in? I find that interesting.
He's gonna agree with Charlie Kirk that the left is actually responsible for Kamala losing, and also that he's gonna agree with Charlie Kirk on the Israel.
Hold up, bro. Isn't it just demonstrably true that like 30 to 40% of Michigan, like Dearborn, voted for Jill Stein in protest of the Gazan conflict? And isn't it also true that you encourage that line of thinking that the Democrats were so bad on Israel Gaza that they should be punished? And now, isn't it infinitely worse that Trump is in power and trying to help Israel conduct its ethnic cleansing? Is that not just true? I know I'll never get an answer from Hasan Piker, but I would love to see him just like deny that somehow.
Real stuff. He's also going to agree with Charlie Kirk on like 20% to 30% of Trump's deportation policies.
He's more of a right-wing red pill guy.
Based.
They're both sort of creatures of like internet trolldom, but it should be a lot of fun. You know, it's like blood sports. It's like watching a cockfight, effectively. We love to see it, though. We love to see it.
Oh,
It's
God.
great.
Oh, gross. Oh, my God.
We are at Student Action Summit. We got Destiny and Myron here today. Have a little friendly conversation.
Oh, yeah, man. Good to see you, bro.
Young people may be tuning out the news, but this new form of live, provocative political debate is blowing up online. Its cultural significance is something well known to Kirk because he's part of it.
Oh, it's democratic socialism. It's completely different.
I love this one.
And I like it's.
I can talk about
want to know
socialism
what's
for hours.
the best.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids.
Under a tent with the words, "Prove me wrong," Kirk brought online debater culture directly to hundreds of college campuses during the last election cycle.
We have a problem in Black America. The biggest problem is not racism. It's the lack of dads.
Hold up. I literally agree with this. So I get that Hasan Piker is laughing. All you fatherless motherfuckers are a problem. And I have a dad, but let's just say that, you know, we didn't have a very conversational relationship until very recently, actually. We've had a substantively improved relationship over the past 3 to 5 years. He was always a good man. He always took care of the family. He always paid everything. I remember playing catch with him a few times. I remember talking about life a few times. But realistically, like, you know, he could have been more active. And I legitimately think that our society would be less fucked up if there was a more mentoring paternal class within society. And it's just borne out statistically. Like, men who have male mentors that themselves are not violent criminals, like every single metric of their lives improves. So I know that Hasan is snickering, but I would say that's a substantively like bigger issue than, I don't know, what is it, 20,000 homicides a year? I agree with Charlie Kirk, the conservative, on this meme Ben Shapiro statement.
He's like, the biggest problem is not racism because obviously I'm racist. So that would be like admitting that, you know, my kind of thinking is what's wrong, what's like held Black America back. He just stole Steven Crowder's whole flow. No, I know.
When exactly do heart waves begin in utero?
You know that, but you don't know the four.
Hold on, no, tell me when heartbeat.
I don't know.
And while he uses it to make viral content, its primary goal is to register Gen Z.
Nice. You guys said he should Slav max. Yes. Slav aesthetic. Bro, Steven needs to Slav max. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He needs to Adidas max, bro. Yes. I'm into this, bro. I don't think that I do Slav maxing very well, but I would 100% participate. If there was like a meme conference where like Steven and I were showing up and we had to have a similar aesthetic, I would do this 100%. Black tracksuit, Adidas clothes, 100%. Tracksuit aesthetic for men. Bro, this is not my aesthetic at all. But number one, I think Steven would absolutely destroy this aesthetic. And I think I could pull it off as a meme. You're right. It's not Wigamaxing, it's Slav maxing. Good point, chat. Good point. I am once again owned in the marketplace of ideas.
To vote MAGA.
I love the fact.
This kind of stuff is so fucking rudderless, okay? It's just, if you're doing blood sport for the sake of blood sport, like...
Okay. Fuck you, Hasan. Your brain is rudderless. Whenever you encounter anything whatsoever, you just like cook up 20 random geopolitical historical points and throw it at the screen like word salad. Shut up, you hating ass bitch.
Charlie has a clear agenda, okay? His goal is to promote right-wing talking points. His goal is to make the left look weak and humiliate liberals and the left alike so he can make people agree with his worldview. He can make his worldview look stronger in comparison. If the inverse of that...
Is that not what you're doing literally right now, Hasan? What's the criticism?
On the opposing front are rudderless neoliberals who constantly find themselves catering to the white nativist talking points in an effort to, I guess, like secure a larger crowd. Then you're not really fucking debating this person. You're just waiting out the time until you agree with him, maybe 3 years down the line. But at
oh, fuck you. Fuck you, you bitch. Don't save. Sorry. I'm not on Valor Media Network, so I'm a little bit spicier today. Where's my maps? We need to redraw. Where's my U shape? It's here. I need to redraw this one, but you know, I'll redraw it. So what Hasan Piker is saying is that these people, the liberals, might as well not even debate these people, because they agree on 30% of policy. Like, let's say that you actually believe in a secure border, then you're just conceding everything to these people and you don't actually have that big of a perspective difference. This is fucking stupid. And the reason why is because I'm right here Of course, I want to drag these people to my perspective. And of course, I want to drag these people to my perspective. But that involves me having some level of principle or value overlap with the people who I am dragging to my perspective. Having a 10% or 20% or 30% overlap on a specific policy doesn't mean that you instantaneously agree with the other person on and that you're going to get dragged to them. This is like a fundamental misunderstanding of how rhetoric and politics and appeals work. And it's coming from some douchebag who's at this part of the U shape. I seriously, like, I hate this man. I dislike this man viciously. I think he's dumb. I think he's vapid. I think his criticisms suck. I think he uses word salad instead of real points. And I have no idea how the seals in his chat continue to clap for him. I really don't.
At that point, he will have moved past the advocacy, just like what Kamala Harris did with Donald Trump. We all laugh at this, but all these freaks were having closed-door meetings with heads of government, including head of ICE, that fucking pay to expand all facilities into alligator Alcatraz type places. I have proof if you want to chat about it. No, I know. These guys are like actively in government as well. Under no circumstance do you agree with these motherfuckers unless they are agreeing with you, okay? And even if they're agreeing with you, it's important to just be like, wait a minute. Why is there...
Jack Darko says, wait, why are you watching Hasan watch this when you could watch Destiny watch Hasan watch this? Based.
Agreement here. What's going on here, you know?
Like that. We are now becoming like, we're becoming the cool kids now.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. It's an open mic.
I think that you push a danger.
Is Destiny gaining popularity? I would have thought that he was falling off since this stuff. Admittedly, I don't follow him. I don't think so. I mean, I think like these kinds of hits are not that consequential. And I know this from my own personal experience. I think that...
Dude, everybody's saying Steven fell off and he's still getting 10 to 15K regularly. His peak in 2022 was 11K. And that was because Lav and Mr. Girl would come to fight on about stupid drama. Steven routinely breaks 10 to 15K. And by the way, I think like 1K is respectable. I saw, who is it? Like Hutch. I saw Hutch break 1K the other day and I was like, damn, bro. Like, I know that there's a drama going on, but that's good. That's like good numbers. You know what I'm saying? So if you're breaking 15K, you're in the fucking stratosphere. I know that Hasan Piker is probably what, like 20 to 30, somewhere in there. But still, man, like that's nothing to shake a stick at. You can't say a motherfucker fell off when he's bigger than he was 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's like crazy to me. It's a really weird talking point.
That getting this,
you could say that he got fucking super canceled for his fucking sex drama bullshit, but I don't think that you can say off. I don't think you can say he fell off metrically.
kind of like mainstream hit is it's a blip. I don't know why Donnie's platforming him, to be honest. I mean, because he's there and
he platformed you terrorist apologizing piece of shit.
The reality of the matter is, like, Donnie literally covers some of the most insane freaks online. He covers every single person.
There's agenda.
It's a strategy that those behind Unearth America say the DNC has been absent to counter.
I hate Charlie Kirk. I think he's actually a Satan spawn, but he's very, very strategically minded.
At an event organized by the
Let him talk more than that, CNN. Jesus.
Unearth America crew down the street from the convention center, both conservatives and liberals packed into a pub to eat chicken wings, drink beer, and watch conservative voices try to take on Destiny.
God, I should have been there, man. I should have driven out. I think I was busy that weekend, but this would have been fire. Like even if I didn't participate at all, I think this would have been awesome.
Have you ever fired an AR-15?
Yeah.
So you fired 5.56. The mathematical odds of him surviving that are infinitesimally small.
They're infinitesimally high if it misses him or grazes his ear. I mean, Charlie Kirk's been doing this a long time.
Watch conservative voices try to take on.
What was that? Was that the Corey Comparatori?
Destiny.
Have you ever fired an AR-15?
Yeah.
So you fired 5.56. The mathematical odds of him surviving that are infinitesimally small.
They're infinitesimally high if it misses him or grazes his ear. I mean, Charlie Kirk's
true.
Been doing this a long time, more than 10 years. Why has it taken the left so long to catch up and still hasn't caught up? Republicans vertically are very well integrated when it comes to making sure that they're winning elections. Yeah. Right? There's the people who in 2020, they thought the election was stolen in every state, basically. but they still shut up to vote next time. So something is happening there where they're really big on going out and winning elections. And I think that that shows at every single level, to where when people are organizing or when people are creating alternative media networks, whether you're talking Tim Pool, influencing other ones like Joe Rogan.
Are they going to cover scandals? I doubt it.
Or
yeah, good. Okay. Anyways, this is an excellent point by Destiny. I hope that Hasan comments on it, because he's part of the problem where the right wing is very well integrated. So the alternative media pundits sweep for the mainstream MAGA movement. The mainstream MAGA movement fuels and funds the alternative media pundits. It's a symbiotic relationship. And while they will fight about policy and ideology, and they will have debates in order to spice up their viewership, they all know what they're doing at the end of the day, which is they're beating the left. That's their sole goal. Their sole goal is to trigger the libs and defeat the communists. And the anti-MAGA coalition does not have that level of unity. The liberals want to maintain their hegemonic narrative control over the entire left. The far left is not interested in bending the knee to the liberals. The sock Dems and the Dem socks are somewhere in the middle between their mommy and daddy fighting. And then brunch liberals do whatever the fuck they want to do, effectively ignoring that the working class is in a K economy where they're turbo fucked and they're becoming politically radicalized. And so all of these tribes, this coalition that's within the Democratic left-wing base, the anti-MAGA base, they're not unified compared to the right wing. And so that's part of why the right wing's winning. But also the reason why the right wing is winning is because they invested in an alternative media ground game a decade ago. I remember in 2016 to 2018, people were saying that TPUSA was a waste of time and money because young people don't vote. Nobody is saying that shit right now. And the reason why they're not saying it is because like political identity has become like a social currency, where your political identity is part of the way that you brand yourself as a human being. And so as a result, TPUSA, I find it cringe. I find their marketing cringe, but young people don't. Young people think it's cool to put on a MAGA hat to trigger the liberals and go to the TPUSA events to have beer. They said like eat chicken wings and debate politics. And by the way, that part of it I think is fucking awesome. Actually like going to a political event to drink beer, eat fast food, and debate other politically minded people, that's so fucking based. And the fact that the left wing has no ground game by comparison, I think is a failure of the left. One more point, and then I promise I'll wrap up. This is part of the reason why I got so fucking pissed at the anti-PV people. So Progressive Victory, for those of you who don't know, it's a political action committee that I worked for in the election. And the pitch was effectively like, hey, yeah, we're progressive, but defeating Trump over the next 2 years is everybody's political priority. Let's try to take some of the money, time, energy, clout, and passion within the alternative media space that's on the left, and let's try to turn it into canvassing and volunteering operations. And instead, what people did, because streamers and YouTube creators got involved with the organization, some of them were paid, some of them were not paid. They said, oh, you're getting paid? This is corrupt. Instead of focusing on like, holy shit, why aren't we helping create an alternative media vehicle to create volunteering organizations that actually push an anti-MAGA agenda? There was so much infighting. There was so much crabs in a bucket mentality. It fucking sucks, man. It fucking sucks that the left can't get out of its own way. It actually, no offense, because like, I still identify with my neocon label. It's one of my biggest criticisms of the left wing is you guys can't shut the fuck up, get on the same team, and fight for a shared goal.
Trying to do things with college kids like Charlie Kirk. They're making these events and they're gathering all these different people. For Charlie Kirk, it's school kids, but the single focus is winning elections. It's incredibly important. And somehow I feel like on the left, I don't know how this happened online. Maybe it's because we tend to be younger or whatever, but somehow the party's messaging apparatus, it feels like it's kind of hijacked from people by people who won't vote for your candidates, which I think is...
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is talking about me here. Yeah. This is his his main gripe. He thinks I'm not like deriding the Democrats, not understanding that, like, I'm not in the business of deriding Democrats. Why the fuck would I deride the Democrats? He's literally saying he wants to be a Charlie Kirk for the Democratic Party in a piece about how Charlie Kirk is a charlatan. He is a masquerading suit that is a fleshlight for Republican messaging. That's the whole point. That's not what I want.
You fucking dumbass, Hasan. You fucking dumbass. You fucking dipshit. Proving the point with your own rebuttal. You don't have to become a fleshlight for the Democratic Party. You didn't have to do that. What you needed to say is that there's a clear distinction between the two parties, and if the Democrats don't win, clearly evil shit is going to happen. Now, he already swept for Russia, so maybe he didn't care about the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, which is part of the reason why he didn't do what he did. And he cares about Israel-Gaza. But in his attempts to hold the Democrats accountable for Israel-Gaza, and in his attempts to hold the Democratic establishment responsible for American imperialism, he put an administration in power. Let's say that, I don't know, Hasan Piker gets like 300,000 people post-recorded views. He convinced around 250,000 people that there wasn't really that big of a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. And as a part of being a part of that narrative, 5 million people who voted in 2020 did not vote in 2024. And in Dearborn, Michigan, 30 to 40% of the Democrats voted for Jill Stein instead of Kamala Harris I think in the general election, and Donald Trump won Michigan. So you could say indirectly, you could say he's only part of the problem. You could say whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't really care. Like Hasan's just a small bean. You can use that argument if you want. But he is part of the fucking problem because we now have 14 million people projected to die in the next 5 years as a result of the USAID cuts and the PEPFAR cuts. We have the Trump administration helping Israel do ethnic cleansing in Gaza, and we fucked over Ukraine, a sovereign nation fighting for its freedom from an invasive force. So yeah, fuck you, Hasan. You didn't need to simp or be a cocksleeve for the Democratic Party. You just needed to say, hey, I hate the Democrats. These are all the policies that I think are bad. But realistically, if Trump gets into office, a lot of people are going to die. Let's not do that. Let's just go vote blue no matter who, and suck it the fuck up like I did because I'm an adult.
To do. Yeah, he's literally saying we don't need better candidates. We need better voters. The reality is,
no, we don't need better candidates. We need better propaganda.
Is that,
and also you need better voters. Absolutely. You need better candidates, better voters, better propaganda.
That is a message that I think media executives will entertain, though, because that is precisely the kind of message that they want to put out there. If they want to continue losing, or maybe every now and then marginally securing victories, then great. What Charlie Kirk is doing doesn't actually work. It works because it has
Dice 5. In my opinion, Kirk versus Hasan would hurt Hasan demonstrably and reinforce MAGA. Agreed. While Kirk versus Steven would break up the right, but not hurt Hasan. Priorities. Yeah, I actually think that libertarians, conservatarians, and the contrarian right are infinitely more likely to shift leftward as the result of good arguments from Steven versus Hasan Piker, the fucking terrorist apologist. 100%.
Sums of money being thrown at it by billionaires to spread propaganda. It's not just that Charlie Kirk is such a genius. That's part of it. The vertical integration that he also mentioned is something that I talk about quite frequently, which is that the propaganda apparatus on the Republican side is directionally aligned, and therefore all of the independent outlets that are supposedly independent are being funded by the same backers that fund the Republican Party and also Fox News. And therefore,
sorry, quick shill time. Like the stream, share it with your friends, super chats if you got them, memberships if you got them. Thank you for being here.
For Charlie Kirk can go in and out of mainstream circles to gain significant more prominence in times of need. He can also consistently farm donations from wealthy Republican donors. Charlie goes on Fox and Friends. He goes on all of the Fox News, all of the different programs on Fox News, Same with all of these other guys, like even the PragerU guys, even no-name PragerU guys have they get mainstream opportunities with regular frequency, whereas there is no equivalent on the independent left media side. There's not even equivalences on the independent liberal media side. Brian Tyler Cohen, Midas Touch, Harry Sasson, these guys are not like regularly being uplifted by CNN or MSNBC. The Unfuck America thing is so fucked because the Dems on the team are just right-wing libs who are also TERFs. I don't know.
Based. Unfuck America is so cringe because it's just right-wing liberals who are also TERFs. Listen, I love my my trans brothers and sisters, but that sounds like my kind of party.
Anything about this? I don't know anything about like the Unfuck America tour. I am so out of touch with whatever the fuck that is. And I know that like TikTok debates are what pops off, especially for
True. I need to figure out how to do TikTok debates, but I literally don't have a TikTok and I have no idea how to create that content or find that content. I need help with that, unironically.
an entire generation of people who want to consume political content. I think that it is ultimately unproductive, especially if you are rudderless, especially if you have no like ideological backing.
Chuck E. Cheese says Hutch, ever since the debate with Destiny and Pisco, is breaking 1.5 every day, bro. That's awesome. Like, honestly, like Hutch and I've complained because we had two conversations where I felt like we had the debates and or conversations, and then he just ignored what the fuck I said and went back to saying what he said, which was kind of fucking annoying. But Hutch overall seems like a pretty nice guy. And he not only does he seem like a nice guy, I think he's very astute. Like, I think he's very insightful when it comes to electoral politics. What happened with the drama with the Vanguard boys was originally I was with the Vanguard boys, like 100%. They were saying shit like, the Democratic Party is like old and feeble and weak, and they don't bully their own candidates to get anything done. And I was like, yeah, Democrats are kind of pussies. And then Hutch broke down like the cinema and what's the other guy? Come on, man, help me out. West Virginia. Help me out. It's the Blue Dog Democrat guy from West Virginia. I already know you guys know who I'm talking about. But anyways, he broke down how they were a 50-50 Senate. They needed cinema. They needed, I want to say like Matchison, but I know that's wrong. Come on. I'm going to Google it because I should put some respect on his name. I'm going to put some respect on this guy's name. Democrat from West Virginia, Senator. I think he's gone now. Manchin. So Mattinson or Martinson or whatever I was going to say was close, but Manchin. And Hutch just broke down like how, like, yeah, maybe Joe Biden could have used the bully pulpit, but realistically, if he did some short-term electoral gain, like getting federal $15 minimum wage, he would have lost Manchin and Sinema for the rest of his term and passed nothing else. And I was like, oh shit, like I'm falling for the vibes of the passion of the Vanguard in this argument. But realistically, Hutch just totally Aikido slammed them into the ground. So while Hutch isn't the most entertaining debater, he was just factually correct. And he body slammed them into the fucking ground.
If your politics are not guided by empathy, if you're not predisposed,
you're not very empathetic, Hasan Piker. Saying that like rich kids raping each other, at least they're not raping middle class kids or poor kids. That wasn't very empathetic. Simping for October 7th isn't very empathetic. None of that shit's empathetic. So hold on, this might be an important call. 1 second. Hello? Spam call, but that's okay.
With policy, and you would rather defend the party. I do not care about defending the party. I care about defending good policies, no matter who is the person, no matter who is saying the actual.
Sorry, real quick. AF Racing says, I just realized you're the only streamer I watch who doesn't do the weird Twitch intonation when reading off questions, and that's what I appreciate about you. Well, I appreciate that's about you too, friend.
Good policies, who's defending the actual good policies. Ultimately, a lot of these people are like in the case of Destiny, if he wasn't so purely spite driven, I think he could continuously be a debate mercenary that sees a tremendous amount of success. But I think
he still has an incredible amount of success, you fucking dumbass.
Because of his like overwhelming amount of spite for like everyone he thinks fucked him over in his career and like kept him down, which is ironic because you should look in the mirror. That's the only motherfucker who's like fucked himself over. If he didn't do all of that stuff, all that snarky shit, then he probably could be like a decent debate mercenary. But even then,
he's a decent debate mercenary, bro. I think anybody who doesn't think that is fucking coping. Gronman says, it's funny as someone who's pretty left of the creators in the space, I prefer you and Erudite because you both don't treat the Dems as infallible until after the fact. Well, that's one of the challenges. So no offense to Hutch and Josiah, and I think Pisco can be pretty critical of the Dems, truth be told. But I do feel like Josiah, if you go look at his content, it's effectively, Trump bad, Dems good. And then Hutch does do something, in my opinion, on the content that I've seen that's fairly similar. And the criticism will be like super tepid. Whereas I think that if you want to be like an honest person where honesty is more of a priority than efficacy, sometimes you just have to call out your side's bullshit. So, yeah.
It'd be just like another Harry Sisson type. The Democrats are always going to actively push aside leftist influencers because
thank God.
Democrats don't actually want to influence people. The Democrats don't actually want to make change. That's the unfortunate problem. Until the Democratic Party changes and actually becomes an active fighting party, a party that actually cares about its citizens, a party that actually cares about its voters, a party that is actually predisposed.
Damn, Melody says, Connor, think they have a group in Unfuck America that defected from the right to support going against MAGA? Feel like that would be a great part of them to join. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. If they got a bunch of neocon and moderate Republicans, I will be the unk for the right-wing TikTokers who decided that MAGA was actually a cult. Hell yeah. I'll be their unk.
With like improving people's lives, a party that wants to advocate for good policies that do genuinely improve people's lives, and not just like the status quo party that is marginally better than the increasingly worse Republican Party. There's not going to be this kind of cohesive media push from.
I'll agree that the Democratic donor class seems allergic to talking about working class economics because they know that's gonna result in them paying more taxes and increasing social welfare policies. But I don't think the candidates are necessarily allergic to that. And I don't think that the voters are allergic to that. So I can understand why he's saying that the elected officials are kind of toothless. They talk a big game in order to get elected, but then they ultimately don't do anything. I think that's an okay perspective to have. But I also think that Hutch would probably have an electoral counterpunch where he would be able to appeal to the pragmatics of why, if the Democratic Party started fighting the way that Hasan Piker wants them to fight, how they would actually lose more electorally than they would gain. The Democratic Party is an incrementalist party, 100%.
Independent circles, and at most they'll just fucking push for like Midas touch to be dominant in the media landscape.
Did the Democrats have anything like this?
Nothing. And I will say,
ooh, get him, Z, get him, Z, get him, Z. I'm actually hanging out with Z in 2 weeks.
like Charlie Kirk is honestly one of the best organizers of our generation, and
that hurts to hear out loud, but if it's true,
I think that, you know, as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I believe that what he's doing has worked, and that's why I'm here to replicate what he's doing. I'm not here to...
I need to talk to Z, bro. If Z is trying to replicate what she's doing by getting young anti-MAGA people out to vote and to fight and to debate, I'm all about that shit, 100%. I need to talk to Z.
You know, disrupt Charlie Kirk's events. I'm here to say that there are alternative ideas and that we need to build the same thing that he has, because he is good at it.
Z. Cohen Sanchez has worked more than a decade on Democratic campaigns.
There's no reason why we can't do this.
Isn't she like late 20s though? So does that mean that she started in activist circles when she was 16? That'd be interesting.
This is not very expensive to do. We have so many PACs on the Democratic side raising millions of dollars, right? We are not a big PAC. We haven't even raised $1 million yet. And we're able to get all of these creators essentially anywhere that Charlie is. And so that's what we really want the Democratic Party to do, is we want to have them to start investing in these movements.
Is the DNC supporting this?
No, not currently.
Why not?
If Ken Martin's watching this, text me back. But really, I mean,
True. Get some, Z. Get some.
I think it's disappointing that we haven't been able to see the DNC really get off the ground since the election, because I think a lot of things have happened internally that have been distractions to the actual ground game that we need right now.
No, our motto is when they go low.
Based on what that woman is saying, isn't it analogous to them saying they need a Joe Rogan to the left, aka not understanding what the root of the problem is? Yes. I think she just wants to be that person for the Dems. And
fuck you, Hasan. It's Microsoft Paint time. God, I hate this guy. God, I hate this guy. I think he's such a douchebag. Okay, here's Charlie Kirk on the right. Here's the alt media scene. Here's the mainstream scene, mainstream media. Here is, I don't know. We'll figure it out in a second. And here's the Republicans. So I think that Stephen might argue that they're vertically integrated. I don't know, but for now, they're going to remain horizontally integrated. Republicans. God, I hate this guy. I actually, I think I'm getting heartburn over how much I fucking hate this guy. So let's call this alt media. Let's call this mainstream media. Let's call this elected officials. Elected officials slash electoral, elected slash electoral officials, right? Because the DNC isn't actually elected officials, but it's part of the machine that gets them elected, right? Is that a fair description? And so the whole point is that these people are all, they might fight amongst each other on occasion. They might have debates, but they all share one goal, okay? And the one goal is, let me draw this. It's going to be silly. It's going to be a silly goal. You guys are going to laugh. But it's true. Trigger the libs. Make the socialists commit suicide out of despair. This is the goal of alt media on the right and mainstream media on the right. Make the socialists slash uber progressives commit suicide out of despair. This is their mission. This is what they're doing, and they're doing it very well. And the way that they're doing that is Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, he is serving as a bridge to all three. Okay? He's in the alternative media. Charlie Kirk. But he created an apparatus by trying to get young people to be passionate. He is invited on to mainstream media. He gets conversations and has insider gossip from elected officials. And he is a prominent member of the alternative media. So Charlie Kirk gets all three of those things done, which is why he's so successful. Whereas, if you look at the alt media, the mainstream media, elected officials, and the donor class on the left, alt media, mainstream media. This is going to be very unfair. It's going to be an unfair characterization, but I think you guys have to contend with this whether you like it or not. I'm just going to be real. You're going to have to deal with this whether you like it or not. That's not very aesthetic. Let's do that. Let's do that. Boom. Here we go. What's the other one? Elected officials. And then donor class. So the donor class wants to do enough liberal shit that they want to do like brunch liberal shit, right? They want to feel good about what they do. So let's do brunch liberal shit. Like they want to change. They want to change their Instagram profile picture to Black Lives Matter, but they don't actually want to pass police reform because that's going to cost money, right? And that means increased taxes. And they're already paying like a shitload of taxes, and they're already giving a shitload of money from the, they're already like giving a shitload of money to Democratic electoral apparatuses. And so they want to do progressive shit, but they don't want to spend money on it, right? It's too expensive. It's actually a pain in the ass. Actual police reform would cost money, right? Then the mainstream media pretty much sweeps for liberal brunch shit. But I would say that progressives and some members of the alt media actually want to fix the country. Like there's real problems that we care about, police brutality, income inequality, all that kind of stuff. And we want to fix the country. And I would say that we fight about what that is, but people in the alt media, because they're not part of the donor class, they actually genuinely want to fix the country, right? And then I would say that elected officials are torn between fixing the country and brunch liberal shit that they have to do because the donor class doesn't want them to spend too much money on fixing the country. And then the mainstream media kind of like virtue signals about fixing the country, right? They talk about Black Lives Matter. They talk about all that kind of shit. But realistically, at the end of the day, if they have to choose between ad revenue and fixing the country, they're going to pick brunch liberal shit. And so this is why Charlie Kirk is absolutely fucking annihilating the left wing, in my opinion, is because you guys have mixed priorities. And as a result of having mixed priorities, you can't unify in order to defeat it. So the truth is that Z is trying to fix this breakdown in communication. She's trying, God bless her, to get the donor class to invest in alt media to fix real problems. And she's trying to use the mainstream media to bully the donor class. And she's trying to build relationships with elected officials. And instead, let me find my eraser. Let me make it small. Instead of helping her do that project, right? Instead of saying like, damn, this is actually exactly what we need. We have a breakdown in communication. We have a breakdown in priority. We have a breakdown between the donor class, right? Instead of saying, holy shit, Z has a great idea. Let's help Z out. 1 second. I need to finish my dotted lines before we do that. Instead of Hasan Piker, who's a member of the alt media, saying, damn, Z's right, we need to do this shit. He's like, fuck Z. She's a brunch liberal who wants to sweep for the donor class and the brunch liberal elected officials. I'm not going to help her at all. And so as a result, you maintain the fucked up status quo. So good job, Hasan. You're a fucking dumbass and you're part of the problem. And I hate you.
And the Dems are so fucking delusional that they won't even like throw a bone to people like that who want to be like, who are begging to be loyal servants of the Democrats.
You know who could help with that? a multimillionaire with a lot of clout and influence. That's who could help.
Not that I'm saying that if the Dems also fucking funded this operation.
Damn, bro, how much money you got in your savings account?
That seemingly has decided to go with like a active pest with numerous court cases launched against them, who with regular frequency will say like insane freak shit or.
And now he's talking shit about the alt media person who's actually getting into the trenches to try to fucking help Z do what Z knows needs to be done. So instead of helping push the fucking car to the gas station, Hasan Piker fucking hates. Awesome.
Or, you know, white people's right to be able to say the N-word. Destiny is a demon of
based.
The internet. He cannot exist in the real world in this way. There's a million different things.
That's got a base because demons can't, like in Warhammer 40k, demons can't exist in the real world without like an opening to hell. And so Hasan Piker unwittingly using a Warhammer 40k reference is pretty based, actually. That's funny. I hate you 1% less.
But the point is, you talk like a rapper in an interview who talk about King Von. That's so funny. Yeah, dude, keep coping. I do love people who like try to present Destiny as this like scary individual as well, and not just like a repulsive freak. Yeah, dude, you're talking about him like you're talking about King Von, dude. You're just a weirdo creep.
We go high.
For Destiny, it's a ground game that must reflect the online culture he and millions of young Americans are part of.
True and based.
One that is often characterized by un-PC language, insults, and crude humor, like this tweet Destiny sent poking conservatives by saying the kids who died in the Texas floods were proof that God doesn't exist.
The tweets you
cringe, by the way,
sent about the kids in Texas would probably disqualify you, or would probably have somebody in the upper levels of the Democratic Party say, okay, we'll never work with this guy again.
Yeah.
Do you regret sending those tweets?
I think they have to get over it. I don't regret them. I love poking the bear on the right. I feel like Republicans are so good at owning the space. Republicans do this thing where they say, you know.
Oh, and Chuck E. Cheese's Harry Sisson and Midas Touch are funded by giant super PACs. They were. I don't think they're funded anymore. You want me to show you how? Let me show you how. They have 5.2 million subscribers. They have 7 billion views. Last month, they got 140,000 subscribers. They got 274 million views. 300 million views, 253 million views, 330 million views. Their low point in 2025 was 100 million views. Do you know how much fucking money that is? Because I'm going to tell you in a second. It took them 2 years to get to the level of success that they are currently at, but they have been holding steady at that level of success. And even when they were a small bean, they were at, this was September of 22. They started in August of 22. August, September. Within a month, they had 60 million views, bro. So let me tell you this. I have 20-minute videos, and Midas Touch, generally speaking, does 20-minute videos. They also do a bunch of shorts, and the monetization on shorts is dog shit. But at the same time, like, I'm sure that they make up for it. So I make $200 off of a 20-minute video getting 100,000 views. So let's do 300 million, which is a $250 million. 300 million divide by 100,000, which is the amount of views that I get in order to make $200 off of my Warhammer channel, multiply by 200. They make a minimum of $500,000 a month. That doesn't include sponsorships. That doesn't include PACs. That doesn't include donos. That doesn't include any of that shit. They make a minimum of $500,000 a month. And there was something in here where I did the math on their shit, and I basically figured out that they were making around $1 million a month. So no, bro, they don't need super PACs. They are a fucking super PAC.
It is issues with jokes you've made. Yeah, that's the other side of the story, that he's just like so goddamn annoying. With like, as much as
shut up, pussy. I got fucking neck problems and I'd fist fight you, you fucking loser.
I entertain edgy humor.
Oh, Destiny's so annoying because he's 5'6" and he debates and he has a nasally voice. Fuck you. You're a worse version of him. You are a less entertaining, more dumb version of him. You suck. The only reason why you have a career is because you look good. The only reason why you have a career is because you have decent recall to recite a word salad of random geopolitical events so midwits think you're smart. That's the only reason why you have a career. You actually suck. You are a worse iteration of Destiny than Destiny.
It's usually not against like defenseless children. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Oh, never mind. He's attacking. He's attacking Destiny over the kid joke. I take everything back. Hasan Piker's right. My bad.
Jokes that I have that are fucking edgy are the same type of jokes that like the right wingers get mad at, which is usually making fun of America as an institution. You know, making fun of the American government, making fun of dominant forces in American society.
Yeah, it's 12:30. Time on deck is 1 p.m. I'm 30 minutes behind. And what I would say too, eventually, you guys should super chat to help me out. I'm going to get 2 vertical monitors and I'm going to put them up here. And on one, I'll have the chat that's 30 minutes behind. And on the other, I'll have the chat that is current. So, you know, if I'm looking for a current detail, I can keep up with current chat. We'll fix this eventually. I just have a 2-monitor system right now. Gen X says, can Connor not see the 800 times we wrote mansion in chat? Yeah, I'm 30 minutes behind because I read all your chats because I actually parasocially love you, unlike all your shitty other fucking streamers, okay? I'm going to shill for myself real quick. Not only should you like the stream because it's free, and we've had 150 people since 9:30 a.m. I parasocially love each and every one of you, and I thank you for being here. Not only should you like the stream, you should share it with your friends. If you have a good time and you think I'm a good entertainer, tell your friends about me. If you got money burning a hole in your pocket, give me a super chat. Or give me a membership. And I understand that it's frustrating when you're an active chatter, because there's probably, I don't know, 50 of you, 70 of you who talk actively in the chat. I know it's annoying that I ask questions or I have a boomer moment and you're trying to help me out and you're trying to DM me and all this kind of shit. And I'm not hearing what you're saying because I'm 30 minutes behind in chat. But all your other favorite streamers, they don't even fucking read their chats. Okay? Steven stops once an hour to get pissed off at one thing that one chatter said and then yell at that chatter for 5 minutes. That's how he creates his content. Good for him. He's wildly successful. Chud Logic, one of my favorite entertainers, he also does the same thing, where the only way that you're going to get him to acknowledge what you're saying is, number one, if you super chat. Number two, if you're a regular that he likes, like DK or DK or his black friend, Stylo. If you're DK or Stylo and you type some crazy shit in chat, he's going to acknowledge you. If you're anybody else, he will only acknowledge the things that one guy him. I actually read. I actually pay attention. I actually interact with my audience. So I get the timely thing is annoying, but, you know, fuck you. Your favorite streamers, your other favorite streamers, they don't even try. They just take your fucking super chats. They say, fuck you. I'm making entertaining content. Shut the fuck up. Go talk to other chatters. I actually talk to my chatters in my audience. I love you, but fuck you. Also donate, please.
I'm punching up no matter how edgy it is. I'm not fucking punching down.
Comedy's legal again, and we can joke about anything. But when they say anything, they really just mean like immigrants and black people, right? Because if you make fun of anything on their side, they lose their minds.
I guess is your point that, you know, always trying to take the high ground is clearly not working for Democrats.
One of the things that conservatives...
I disagree on this shit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Plurality of tactics.
In order to beat Republicans, we must become more racist. Does anybody like this?
True and based. Oh my God. If all the progressives and leftists stopped being such pussies about racist jokes, that would actually unironically help.
This guy I'm asking earnestly, it's just the fucking grossest people. Or if there's anyone that's like normal that likes him, they probably saw like a TikTok clip where he doesn't look like a gross little freak pervert. That's probably
These be fighting words, Hasan Piker. I'll fight you for Steven's honor.
it. But like the main community is some of the worst fucking freaks. They basically operate like a bunch of cyber stalkers that have no real interest in politics at all and just basically do his bidding, whatever it is.
That's like 5% of Steven's audience. 95% of Steven's audience are like well-employed, underemployed, and employed political autists. 5% of Steven's audience are schizophrenic digital terrorists. 95% of his audience are underemployed, above average IQ, smart people.
Accidentally, because I think Donald Trump's an idiot, even politically, but they stumbled into this
who are interested in politics.
Thing where people started to get confused because of what the right and left looked like, and I think they think that you need an extremist platform in order to win elections, but which
True. Okay, Steven might actually say something I agree with. Interesting.
you really need, I think, is just extremist messaging. I think that's what you need.
Back inside.
JJ says Connor's like barely older than Destiny. I thought, yeah, I'm like a year or two older than Steven, but let's face it, on a maturity basis, we are. Steven is a early 20-year-old. You know, he's a smart guy. I'm not dogging his intelligence. I'm not dogging his experience. I'm not dogging his I'm not dogging his ability to understand really complex topics. I'm not dogging any of those things. I would say that he lives his lifestyle the way that a early 20-year-old man lives life, and I live the life of somebody who's almost dead. So
The packed event giving the Uneth America organizers hope there will be appetite for similar debates on college campuses this fall.
I do 100 hours of this a semester. 100 hours, in addition to 2 hours of podcasting radio. I mean, the physical crowds are now 3,000-4,000 people almost every time we do this.
And so the plan for this semester is Charlie Kirk shows up at campuses all across the country.
Chuck E. Cheese says Charlie is also run by a super PAC, the Adelson super PAC. If I remember, TPUSA is funded by an oil company. It might be, but interestingly enough, Charlie Kirk's original funders, I believe, were the Koch brothers, the like giga libertarian conservatarian bros, and they paid him a starting salary of $50,000 a year, and a lot of people made fun of him for that because they thought that the work he was doing was so crazy for such little money, but nobody's fucking laughing now. I guarantee you Charlie Kirk is probably he's at minimum making six figures, and probably, let's be real, mid six figures, maybe high six figures. And he's at maximum probably taking in a seven-figure salary or a seven-figure investment or a seven-figure stock option or something. So that, while you can hate Charlie Kirk, I genuinely do not think Charlie Kirk is that smart of a guy. His ability to debate is not that great. His recall is not that great. His insight is not that great. But he is a talking points machine, and he has the persistence to turn a $50,000 salary into a multi-million-dollar media outreach machine for the Republican Party. You can hate him, you can think he's stupid, and I agree with you. But that is an institution worthy of study and replication, if not respect.
And before I started watching Twitch, all I heard of Destiny was he's a liberal that likes to debate Republicans. Most normal people don't know how repulsive he is. Yeah. I think like what he doesn't realize is when he gets into the spotlight a little too much and the light shines back at him even a little bit, like when he has to operate under the microscope that he's placed upon someone like myself, for example,
Bro, I don't even like you that much or care that much for your content. I actually think your content sucks. But when you simp for terrorism, I'm going to watch and break down the content and call you a piece of shit. Mr. 10 Toes Down supports the Red Sea crisis. Mr. Timothy Chalamet. Mr. America Deserved 9/11. Mr. My moderator Frogan was going to make a 9/11 cake. Yeah, you got my attention. That's not because Steven put a microscope on you. Shut the fuck up.
When people find out about what he says all the fucking time and he can't help himself, that he basically wears like a badge of honor, like no matter how edgy it gets, no matter how gross he gets, he's seen as like no matter he in his own community is seen as like a beacon of truth and honesty whenever he gets like more edgy. But to the average person, that just comes across as like a repulsive freak.
I mean, I agree with that in reference to the dead kids. Mwah. Bye for now.